Okay, so this is titled wrong, but this is my setup. I use a HOTAS. I also use the game controller and a keyboard. So I'll do a quick run through, and I definitely recommend, even if you don't use a HOTAS, at least get a USB keyboard because, especially when you start to get to jets, there's a lot of controls you need. I use full real controls when I play realistic as well, because there's some settings that don't carry over to realistic. So what I do first is I do have the option to change the control mode. That is this button right here. You can do that in flight, so you can switch between mouse aim, simplified, realistic, or full real. So if you got a plane that's really cantankerous, like a Spitfire, and you're in realistic, you can switch back to real controls. Toggle SAS mode is for jets. That is really for, you can choose, it has three settings. It's manual, deadened, and or dampened, excuse me, and auto level. That is really useful for a couple of things. One, dampened makes it fly smoother. That's all I can say. It just makes it feel like you would expect the plane to handle. Even some of these jets are easier to fly than props. Harder to fight with, but easier to actually fly, especially with the HOTAS. So, no, I don't. I'm streaming. So what I've got here for the throttle is I have that set up. I'm not going to change a thing, but I've got it set for my throttle. So I know that some people have a button that they hit, or they have to leave it at full throttle for it to hit WEP. But I just have it already preset. You just got to work with it till you get that zeroed in. I don't know how you do it. Roll axis is at 87 or 0.87. Pitch axis is at 0.83. Yaw axis, I didn't really mess with that much. I just turned down the yaw sensitivity. I do have thrust vector set up. I actually have that and swing wings together with that. Let me turn the head tracker off because it's annoying. Okay, no, it's still on. I'm just gonna. So, hover height, I don't actually know how to engage hover, but so I don't use it. Uh, Harrier, Harrier, and the Yak 38 does it too, but I don't recommend the Yak 38. I kill them a lot. Flaps down. You can see how I have that combined with two sets of buttons. So you can see how the flaps down, flaps up, and that L2 button is the one on the outside. It's the small button. I use that a lot. So basically, like you see the wing sweep, the thrust vector, I've got my vertical pitch all with that one button. Also have the gear with that button too. J2 for the air brake is the larger one in front of the small button, because you'll use that a lot, especially for landing and emergency situations. Don't overuse it like some people do. Thrust reverser is, I think right now, only for the vegan, but I also have that as my brakes, so they just go hand in hand. Uh, Gear, so you can see how I have the flaps and the gear all laid out. So it goes 1, 2, 3. So flaps up is the small button and the top button on the thumb. Middle button on the thumb brings them down, and then the gear is the one on the bottom. It just makes logical sense there. Going down, this is a little trick setup. I don't use primary. I have everything set up for secondary. So I have all my guns on this one. This is I mainly just use one setup. I know you can switch that over. I have all of my weapons are set to fire. Like all the secondary weapons are set to fire with that button the middle button on the stick. So and then drop bombs in series. The R3 button is the one on the outside of the stick itself. So that way, so I've got the drop bombs, and then it's the same. So if I really want to level the hurt, I just drop them all. Fire rockets, obvious, same. Rocket salvo set up the same as the series, and then all my missiles and just general weapons are just set to back up to fire secondaries. Lock guided bombs, same as I have for lock air-to-air targets.
Yeah, they're gonna have to change that setting where if you're on the base,
Yeah.
because it literally just said no active players, but yet I was moving my plane down the runway.
Oh, that stinks. So,
Yeah.
fire countermeasures is right. It's the top button on the thumb, like just instantaneous. Boom. Laser designator. Now, the radar controls, I've got some set for the keyboard and some set for the controller. So again, when you get to jets and you get to top tier jets and you start dealing with the radar, this will help you out. But basically, changing mode has to be done on the quickly and a lot. Um, change the search mode changes the width of your scan. That changes the depth of the scan, and if you've got multiple targets, I can select which one I want to lock onto, and then the X button, so the second one down, locks that target for me on the left thumb. Uh, and then this is for the bombing computer. That's a whole other series I'm going to make on how to do that. I don't know how site civilization works. I'm going to have to play with that eventually.
I am out of battle now, so
Okay.
when y'all get done, just let me know.
Give me about 2 minutes. Camera controls.
Just message. I'm gonna try to grab some to eat.
Okay. So I've got the hat switch set up by default to view, up, down, left, and right. This is useful where you can pop your head up and down. I don't know if you fly sim, but it's almost a necessity. Okay, well, it's practice. Let's see. Elevator trim access. I really only have the elevator set up just for expediency, because that's the one I use the most. And engine controls, I really don't mess with them. Oh, let me go back to that for you. Okay. So we go to, what would it be, all axis? Okay. So do you see that? You want joystick axis 6. Or axis 5, excuse me. Yeah. So yeah, that's the left throttle control, left and right. That's just that little rocker switch. So because with the, I didn't know. So with the twist, I just think it naturally gets in the way. Well, that's why I like this setup. That's one of the reasons I actually got the joystick. Oh, this will make you a lot smoother just with this change. Alright, well that about sums up the basics of my controls. I hope you guys enjoy. If you have this is for a T-Flight HOTAS 4, whatever it's called for the PlayStation specifically. It should work with an Xbox or something similar. And again, thanks for watching.